Let's start by defining delegation. Delegation is to entrust a task or responsibility to another person, typically someone who is less senior than you. It is not ordering or telling someone to do something. It's asking someone to do something, and asking it in a certain way with clear explanation, guidelines, explicit expectations, and agreement. So why is delegation so important? Well, let's start by me asking you a few questions. Do you often feel overwhelmed with too many tasks to do? Do you work excessively long hours? Are deadlines often missed? Do you spend most of your time doing tasks that other people could be doing when you should be leading, managing, and coaching? Do your team members know exactly what is required of them? Well, if you do delegate well, you will have motivated team members that know exactly what is expected of them. You will be a better leader and manager and get promoted faster. You will have more time to focus on the things that you should be doing. Your team will need less supervision and they will feel empowered, and you will feel less stressed. You'll get more done in less time. And you can focus on what's important, like the vision, strategy, and coaching. If you don't delegate, you will not be a better leader or manager, and you probably won't get promoted. Your team members will not know exactly what's required of them. You may make bad decisions. They will keep coming to you for assistance, and they will waste time doing things that are not required. They will feel confused, and you will feel more stressed than overwhelmed. When I first tried to delegate, I gave my people very few guidelines, and I expected them to work it out by themselves, because I didn't want my people to think that I was being a dictator. Consequently, they didn't know what I really wanted or expected, which caused even more problems and conflict. We wasted time, and I got frustrated, and so did they. I thought I was being hands-off and trusting them, but without enough guidance, we just wasted a lot of time. Now I do it differently. I now use the principles of effective delegation, and things are much better. People know what's expected of them. They take ownership for their work. They learn new things. And I get more time to focus on what's important, like client development, strategy, and coaching. Let's now look at the underlying principles here of delegation. Firstly, you can't do everything by yourself. You need other people. There is too much for you to do on your own. Secondly, other people need to know what's expected of them and how to solve problems if they have them. And thirdly, you must share authority and responsibility with your people. They must then be accountable for what they do. Ultimately, you are of course accountable because you're the leader and you delegated a task to them. Let's just say a little bit more about that last point. When you delegate, you give the other person sufficient authority to make decisions and take actions. They are responsible for getting the task done and deciding how it's to be done within the guidelines that you've given them. And they are accountable for how they do the task and for the result they get, i.e., they get to answer for their actions and the results. But ultimately, like I said, you are accountable for the result because you're the leader and you delegate it to them. So what are the barriers to delegation? Well, many managers make the following excuses for not delegating. They say, it takes too long to explain what I want, or my people resist taking responsibility, or my people are already overworked, I can't give them any more work, or it's easier and quicker to do things myself. My people lack experience and competence, or I can do the work in my department better than anyone else. Maybe, if you want it done right, you better do it yourself. Or maybe, my employees won't like me if I expect too much of them. But these are probably not the real reasons. The real reasons are probably the following beliefs. I'm the manager and so therefore I should be in control. Or perhaps I'm more comfortable doing what I've always done, and if I gave that to someone else, I would need to learn new things, maybe. Or I might get into trouble if the other person does things wrong. So please think for a moment, why don't you delegate? Honestly, why don't you delegate more? Of course, sometimes your people will resist your efforts to delegate to them. They may feel that they don't know how to do what you're asking of them. They may feel that you're imposing more work on them. They think they will not get any reward for doing the extra work. Or maybe they think that they might get criticised if they fail.